What's going on, guys? It's Jeff for MadHattersReef.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 saltwater fish for beginners. So if this is your first time being here, this is where I talk about everything saltwater tank related, and if you love saltwater tanks like I do, or looking to get into the hobby, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out, it helps the show out, and it'll keep you up to date on everything that I'm working on.
All right, guys, so we're at saltwaterfish.com. We're going to be using this website to take a look at the fish that are available for people out there. This is probably the best way to do it because it is a online platform that anybody can access within, I believe, the United States. So we're going to take a look at some fish on here, and we're going to pick out the top 10 saltwater fish for beginners. Coming in at number 10, the Greenchromis. Now, the Greenchromis is a damsel fish, which a lot of people starting out, you want to stay away from most damsel fish. But this one's a little bit different than the other ones that you can find at the local pet store or even here on saltwaterfish.com. And this fish likes to be in a school, so being that it's relatively inexpensive, it's easy to pick up 4 or 5 of them and have a little school of fish in your saltwater aquarium. And they are very hardy and adapt to aquarium life very well, to the point where they actually have been known to breed within a saltwater aquarium. Coming in at $4.49, that's about the typical asking price for a Greenchromis, and relatively inexpensive, very hardy, makes it a great fish for somebody looking to get started in the saltwater aquarium hobby. Coming in at number 9 is the Lawnmower Benny. And these guys have a ton of personality. I just picked one up. It's in quarantine. I picked it up from saltwaterfish.com, and they are awesome. And the reason that these fish are so awesome, again, most of these fish that you're going to see on this list are in this list because they are very hardy fish. But these guys, what they'll do for you is they actually will help you keep your aquarium clean. They spend their entire day just grazing and nibbling at the rock, picking up any type of algae that's growing on the rock. They're not the flashiest fish on the list, but they're definitely one of the highest performing fish on the list, and it will help keep your tank looking amazing. Coming in at number 8 is the yellow clown goby. Now, these guys get their name because of the way they look, but they are not a clownfish. They are in fact a goby. And when you see them for the first time in person, you'll see that they have more of a goby personality than a clownfish. And really what they like to do is they like to perch, and they like to find the highest point that they can in an aquarium, and they just like to look around and see what's going on behind them. They have been known to spawn within an aquarium, and something that you need to keep in mind is that typically they'll lay their eggs on acropora or other branching type corals, so they possibly could cause some damage if you have SPS corals in your tank. With that aside, they are a very hardy fish, and they're very adapted to aquarium life. Coming in at number 7 is the orange skunk clownfish. Now, this fish is the first fish that has gone into my 260-gallon build, and they were the first fish to go into quarantine, first fish to come out of quarantine, and they've been doing very well in my tank. And if you want to check out that build, there is a link down in the description below. And these guys, I like them a lot. I want to get more of them, and I want to try to get them to host in an anemone within my display tank. But that's going to be for a project down the road. This is a great alternative to a conventional Aussolas or percular clownfish. And if you're trying to go the alternative route, these guys are pretty awesome. And they do very well in large groups or in pairs or even singular. So very hardy fish. Coming in at number 7, the orange skunk clownfish. Coming in at number 6 is the Orchid Doggie Bag. Now, this fish has a absolute stunning purple coloration, and I never have seen one that has not had a good coloration on it. It is probably one of the most stunning fish that is available to hobbyists. One of the better things about it is they also breed within aquariums very easily. So 9 times out of 10 when you see one in an aquarium, it's captive bred. And the best thing about captive bred fish is they don't have to acclimate to aquarium life. They are raised in it. So they are 10 times more likely to be successful, which, being a beginner starting out in the hobby, it's a lot better to buy something that is tank raised as opposed to wild caught. They have them marked as a peaceful fish, but I would go as far as to say that they are probably on the lighter side of semi-aggressive. And they're definitely a one and done fish. You don't want to have multiples of these in a tank. You have one per tank. If you have a very large tank, at that point you probably could get away with getting another one in there. And we're talking probably over 200 gallons at that point. But for the most part, you usually just have one per tank, and you're going to have a lot better opportunity to avoid that type of stressful behavior that can come from having multiple doggy bags in the same tank. Coming in at number 5 is the Firefish Goby. Now, this guy is a absolute beautiful fish. They are a little timid. They are very shy fish, but you want to make sure that you have plenty of hiding places in your saltwater aquarium if you want to keep these. They're also probably one of the better fish to add first into your tank, especially when you're first starting out. If you add them into a tank that is already established with fish that could be somewhat aggressive, they're not going to have much of a chance. I have some firefish in my 260-gallon system, and I bought 5, and 2 made it into the tank. Next time I'm going to do another order of these fish. I lost 3 of them to jumping. So you want to make sure that you have a closed tank. I had a tank that had a lid on it, but it wasn't completely sealed. So I did lose 3 fish during the quarantine process, unfortunately. So learn from my mistakes. Make sure that you have a tight-fitting lid if you're going to keep these Firefish Gobies. Coming in at number 4 is the Banner Cardinalfish. I absolutely love these guys. They have been in every single tank that I've ever owned. They are very peaceful. They're incredibly hardy, and they look great in a school of 4 to 5, depending on the size of your aquarium. I currently have 2 of these in my 260-gallon system, and I have 2 more in quarantine that I'm going to be introducing in about a month or so. They just arrived this week, and they're great looking fish. They are extremely hardy, which makes them a great candidate for somebody brand new to the hobby, and they are very forgiving. Coming in at number 3 is the Aussolas Clownfish. Most people probably would have thought this is number 1, but it's kind of too obvious, and it's a little bit overdone at this point. This is the fish that has started it all for a lot of people, Finding Nemo, and really this is a staple in every saltwater aquarium. One of the best things about this fish is they are very sight-orientated fish. They're not swimmers. They don't need a lot of water, and they do great in smaller aquariums. This is a fish that's also very forgiving of poor water quality, which isn't something to strive for, but at the same time, if something happens, that's why it makes it a great candidate for somebody that's new to the hobby, because if there is something that happens, they're going to be a little bit more forgiving than other fish that are available on the market. Coming in at number 2, one of my favorite fish in the saltwater aquarium hobby, the yellow Watchman Goby. And this is a fish that I have in my nano reef tank, which is 10 gallons. And they have some of the best character that a fish has in the saltwater aquarium hobby. And it's a great addition. They're very pretty. They're like a striking yellowish green color, and they have like these little bluish hue dots. And minus the 24/7 grumpy face, they're a pretty good looking fish. This fish likes to burrow into the sand where the live rock meets, and quite often you'll see them kind of peering out, looking as to what's going on around them. That's how they get their name, the Watchman. They have been known to pair up with pistol shrimp too as well, so if you can have luck with pairing them up with a pistol shrimp, you got quite the little dynamic duo going on. But in all, it's a very hardy fish. They're not always the easiest to find. but they are typically priced fairly well when you can find them. So it's definitely a fish. When you see it, you're going to want to grab it. And voted most likely to not be number one, the Tailspot Bunny. Now, this is probably one of my most favorite fish. This coloration that you see in this picture, you're not typically going to see that until they mature. And when they do, the blue head to orange tail is absolutely stunning. And I recently picked one up here at saltwaterfish.com, and he is gorgeous. And he's in quarantine right now, and he's going to make it to the display tank in about 30 to 40 days, depending on what happens in quarantine. Very happy to have him. He's gorgeous, and it is a very hardy fish. It's very peaceful. They're very shy. They like their little hiding spots and that kind of stuff. So it's a fish that you're going to want to introduce into your tank at the early stages of adding fish to it.
So guys, that's going to do it for the top 10 saltwater fish for beginners. If you feel like I missed something, or there's a better fish or a better option that should have been included in this list, please leave a comment down below. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell for the notifications when I upload a new video or go live. That's going to do it for today. I'll see you guys next time right here with a brand new video.